Women of Compass. Good morning. Good afternoon. First, let me say what an honor it is to be here at the very first Women of Compass retreat. Thank you so much for putting this together. An amazing job, right? Isn't there something magical about being in a room full of strong, accomplished women together? Yes. I feel it in the air. The energy, the possibility, the sisterhood, and the power. Now a confession. When I sat down to write this keynote, I did not feel very powerful. I felt very nervous. Actually, I was petrified. Still am a little bit, so bear with me. I'll get my stride in a minute. What could I possibly have to say to all you smart, successful, dynamic women? I'm not a top producing agent. I don't have a big team. I don't have celebrity clients. I'm like many of you, just a woman, single mom, a hardworking real estate agent who loves her work. But then I thought, okay, I just turned 80. That feels significant. Yeah. So that feels significant. Maybe that's the gift I have to share. 80 years of lessons learned, many of them the hard way. I have some lessons that would really can compete with your crazy ones. Lessons that don't fade and that I think may be worth passing on. So please join me as I take you on a little journey through the past, the present, and the future of women and of women in business. My hope is that you'll see part of yourselves in the story, be challenged by it, and maybe feel inspired into action and into a deeper connection with the women in this room and in your lives. So let's start at the beginning. My origin story. This is my birth origin story. I was born in Jerusalem in 1945 at the end of World War II, literally in the shadow of the Holocaust. By the time I was 7, I had lived through war, siege, escaping as a refugee, and finally immigration. Those early years taught me that life is unpredictable, sometimes harsh, and that to survive you need courage, inner strength, allies, and a whole lot of luck. My family eventually settled in New York City, and that's where I grew up. I graduated high school in 1963, and I came of age in the 60s and the 70s. A time of massive social upheaval and excitement. And I joined right in. I mean, I demonstrated and I marched for civil rights, against the war. And in 1968, during the Miss America pageant, I watched on TV as protesters unfurled a banner from the balcony, and it read, "Women's Liberation." Those two words spoke to me immediately. They ignited a fire within me. That's my second origin story, that moment. Suddenly, I wasn't just a young woman trying to find her way. I was part of a movement declaring that all women deserve equality, opportunity, and respect. I joined women's consciousness-raising groups in Greenwich Village. We shared our stories of what it meant to live as women in our time. We sat in church basements, living rooms, and kitchens, talking about unequal pay, oppressive and often inappropriate bosses, and impossible expectations. We began to realize something profound. Our struggles weren't isolated. They were shared. They were universal. They were political. It was raw, it was real, it was revolutionary. Together we discovered this truth, and it's still true today. The personal is political. Those days and those friendships set the foundation for my life. They gave me strength, perspective, a deep sense of self, and a mission based on the belief in the power of women coming together. In 1969, after going to that famous concert weekend in Woodstock, I was there, I did what many of us did at that time. I moved to California. You know, California Dreamin' was kind of the song of that decade, and off I went. And eventually I had my son, Robert. I loved my little baby so much, but those early years as a single mother were incredibly tough. My parents disowned me because my son was racially mixed. And to make matters worse, Robert's father was abusive, and we had to go into hiding. So I struck out on my own. No family, no safety net, just me and my little boy. Those years taught me, if you're going to survive and thrive, you must be strong, resilient, and willing to fight for yourself and those you love. Life isn't fair. It's not easy. You build your life with your own two hands, your intelligence, your heart, and your values. However, I did have a few advantages: a good education, great friends, and something very special that I had created. You see, before Robert was born, I had already begun my first entrepreneurial venture, my first reinvention. I founded the Unicorn School. It was a preschool in Berkeley, created as a magical place for children to grow and thrive. It was built quite literally by hand, designed, painted, and furnished by my own two hands and those of friends who believed in my vision. We even built our own furniture, everything. It was on the ground floor of our home, so Robert attended the Unicorn School through his preschool years. He was one of our little unicorns. It was a blessing for both of us to be able to be so close at that time. But actually, over the years, I reinvented myself many times, from preschool founder to life insurance agent to one of the first female general managers at New York Life Insurance Company, to a real estate agent in New York, and now to president of Compass Plus, an agent-run division within Compass. Each leap was terrifying. Each required starting over. Each reinvention began by rolling up my sleeves to build, to create, to begin again. Each success proved that women are stronger and more adaptable than we know. We also have more opportunities than we often recognize or utilize. For example, after years in early childhood education, I was working really hard, but I still wasn't earning enough money to support Robert the way that I wanted. By chance, I met the general manager of New York Life Insurance Company's Oakland office. She invited me to interview for a job as a life insurance agent. Life insurance agent. I brushed it off. Me sell life insurance? That's ridiculous. But weeks later, after a particularly bad day, I accidentally found her card. It was still in my bag. Someone was offering me a chance to change my life. I realized I should at least take the meeting. Well, that interview totally changed my life. And Robert's, we wouldn't be here today if I had not taken that interview. It launched me into a new career in a field where women were rare. Now, selling life insurance is not easy. Selling real estate is much more fun. We get to show people a beautiful home, and we encourage them to imagine their life in it. The life insurance sale begins with, well, you know you're going to die. But I believed in the importance of what I was doing. I was helping parents safeguard the future of their family, helping them keep their home, educate their children. It became a mission for me, and I worked very hard, and I ended up loving it. And I was pretty successful. Eventually, I became only the third woman ever to run a New York Life Insurance Company office. Yeah. That accidental opportunity, which I almost ignored, taught me, pay attention when doors open. Even the smallest one could lead to something extraordinary. Years later, my next reinvention started quite literally by walking through some open doors, open house doors. I came back to New York. Robert was in college then in New York, he was at Columbia, and I started visiting open houses just out of curiosity. I enjoyed looking at all those beautiful Manhattan apartments, right? And I started thinking, if I could sell life insurance, surely I could sell real estate. Within weeks, I got my license, and real estate became one of the most rewarding chapters of my professional life. It also brought Robert and me full circle. By the way, I'm loving all the circle imagery. And I was looking at the circles in the Women of Compass logo. So, my full circle with Robert, over the years he had watched me work hard, struggle, navigating systems that didn't always serve people like us. He wanted to build something better, a company that empowered agents and valued integrity. That dream became Compass. So when you work at Compass, know this. This company was born in part from stories like mine and yours, and out of the belief that real estate could be more inclusive, more compassionate, more ethical, more human, and more supportive of all the agents who work so hard every day. And it's no coincidence that so many of the people who make Compass what it is are women. Real estate is the largest industry in America dominated by women. Yeah, us, built by our hands, our energy, our empathy, and our perseverance. Now at 80, I'm reinventing myself again. I'm not just a senior, I'm definitely a senior. I'm the founder of Compass Plus. We created Compass Plus to raise the bar for how we serve older adults, many of them women, moving from homes that no longer work for them into spaces that meet their changing needs. Too often, seniors, particularly women, are ignored, patronized, and even exploited. At Compass Plus, we are rewriting that story. Every Compass Plus agent commits to transparency, consent, dignity, and autonomy. Every agent is trained as a certified senior advisor, ensuring that we're not just selling homes, but guiding people through major life transitions with professionalism, ethics, compassion, and care. Let me tell you about Mary. She lived in her home for 50 years. Every corner held memories. She raised her families there. She ran a business out of there. But now the home was too big, too many stairs, too much to maintain. Her health was failing. She had to make a change. Letting go was heartbreaking and frightening. With patience and care, we helped her move into a new home where she's thriving today. And then there's Lynn, an artist in her 90s, living on Medicaid. Her apartment is overflowing with artwork, her own and that of her friends. It covers her treasured grand piano, which she can no longer play. She had a lot of equity in her apartment, but no liquidity and no clear path forward. We worked tirelessly to find a creative solution that allowed her to live out the rest of her life safely and with dignity. These women were trailblazers in my generation. The first woman who got the job, opened the door, earned the degree. Now, as they face aging and illness, it's my mission to ensure that they are cared for with the same respect and courage that they once embodied. It's my mission to make sure that these incredible women continue to be seen, heard, and respected. This is not glamorous work. It does not move fast nor yield a quick profit, but it is sacred. It is exemplified by our Compass Plus motto, mission before commission. I didn't say mission without commission, by the way. Mission before commission. And in this way, my life has come a full circle. I created and ran a preschool to educate children and give them encouragement and confidence to grow. I've spent a lifetime advocating for women, mentoring and supporting them, giving them the confidence to grow, to speak up, and to amplify voices that too often went unheard. Today I serve seniors, protecting them, listening to them, and giving them the confidence to face the next steps in their lives. Different ages, different stages, same mission, helping all people live full and happy lives. So what does that mean for all of us here today? It means that we're part of a long, powerful story. My generation cracked doors open. Yours is building empires on the other side. Together, we must ensure that no one, not the youngest child, not the oldest elder, is left behind, forgotten, or disempowered. Speaking of empowerment, I'd like you to think about this. Never before in the history of the world have women had the power that we have right here and right now. As we sit here in this wonderful room together, each one of us has more opportunities, more freedom, more potential than any woman who came before us ever had. But we have to use it or we're going to lose it. Claim your power. Step into your future. Take risks. Reinvent yourself. You're stronger and smarter than you think. Don't underestimate yourself. Do not hand away your power. But remember, you don't have to do it alone. We gained this power by unifying and working together. And that's how we will amplify and sustain it. Look around this room. These are your sisters. Lean on each other. Build each other up. That's how we multiply strength. And remember this, mission matters. Whether it's in your business, at home, in all of your life's work, lead with purpose, integrity, and compassion. That's the legacy that lasts. Here's what I know after 80 years. Every woman already has the wisdom she needs inside of her. You have the wisdom you need inside of you. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's buried under doubt or sheer exhaustion. But it's there, steady and unbreakable. And when we come together in sisterhood, that wisdom amplifies, it grows stronger, and it becomes unstoppable. The personal is still political. And in this room right now, I see women ready to shape the future for Compass, for real estate, for business, for our families, for our communities, for our world. I see you with your open hands, ready to lift, to build, to guide, to pass the torch forward. From my hands to yours, the future, my sisters, is in very good hands.